Dementia is not a single disease. It is a term used to describe a group of symptoms that affect memory, thinking, behavior, and the ability to perform everyday activities. Many people believe dementia is just a normal part of aging, but that is not true. While aging increases the risk, dementia is caused by damage to brain cells, and this damage has specific underlying reasons. In today's video, we will explore the real causes of dementia, understand how the brain is affected, and learn what increases the risk. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of why dementia happens and what factors play the biggest role. First, let's understand what happens in the brain. Our brain is made up of billions of nerve cells called neurons. These cells communicate with each other through electrical and chemical signals. They control our memory, decision-making, personality, emotions, and movement. When these brain cells become damaged or die, communication between them breaks down. Over time, this damage spreads, leading to the symptoms we call dementia. One of the most common causes of dementia is Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is responsible for the majority of dementia cases worldwide. It happens when abnormal proteins build up in the brain. These proteins form plaques and tangles that interfere with communication between brain cells. As the disease progresses, brain cells shrink and die. Memory loss is usually the first symptom, especially forgetting recent events. Over time, thinking skills, language, and even personality are affected. Another major cause is vascular dementia. Vascular dementia occurs due to reduced blood flow to the brain. Brain cells need a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients from blood. When blood vessels are damaged or blocked, brain cells are deprived of oxygen and begin to die. This often happens after a stroke, multiple small strokes, or long-term conditions like high blood pressure and diabetes. Unlike Alzheimer's, vascular dementia symptoms may appear suddenly after a stroke or worsen step by step. The third common cause is Lewy body dementia. Lewy body dementia happens when abnormal protein deposits, called Lewy bodies, build up inside brain cells. These deposits affect thinking, movement, and behavior. People may experience memory problems, visual hallucinations, sleep disturbances, and symptoms similar to Parkinson's disease, such as stiffness and slow movement. Speaking of Parkinson's disease can also lead to dementia in its later stages. Parkinson's disease primarily affects movement, but over time some people develop cognitive decline. This happens because the disease spreads to parts of the brain responsible for memory and reasoning. Another cause is frontotemporal dementia. Frontotemporal dementia affects the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain. These areas control personality, behavior, and language. Unlike Alzheimer's, memory may remain normal in early stages, but behavior can change dramatically. A person may become socially inappropriate, emotionally flat, or impulsive. This type often appears at a younger age compared to other forms of dementia. Now let's talk about mixed dementia. Mixed dementia occurs when a person has more than one type of dementia at the same time. For example, someone may have both Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia. This is actually very common, especially in older adults. The symptoms may overlap and progress more quickly. Head injuries are another important cause. Repeated traumatic brain injuries, especially severe or repeated concussions, increase the risk of developing dementia later in life. Athletes in contact sports and individuals involved in accidents may face higher risks. Brain trauma can trigger long-term damage and abnormal protein buildup. Infections can also lead to dementia-like symptoms. Certain infections such as HIV, syphilis, and severe brain infections can damage brain tissue. If untreated, they may cause long-term cognitive decline. In some cases, treating the infection early can prevent permanent damage. Alcohol abuse is another major factor. Long-term excessive alcohol abuse is another major factor. Long-term excessive alcohol consumption can damage brain cells and lead to a condition known as alcohol-related dementia. Alcohol interferes with the absorption of important vitamins like thiamine, which is essential for brain function. Over time, this deficiency can cause serious cognitive problems. Nutritional deficiencies also play a role. A lack of vitamin B12, for example, can cause memory problems and confusion. The good news is that some deficiencies are reversible if detected early. That's why proper nutrition is extremely important for brain health. Let's now discuss genetic factors. Family history can increase the risk of certain types of dementia, especially Alzheimer's disease. Some rare forms are directly caused by inherited gene mutations. However, most cases are not purely genetic. Lifestyle and environmental factors also play a huge role. Age remains the biggest risk factor. As people grow older, the risk of dementia increases significantly. This does not mean dementia is normal, but aging makes brain cells more vulnerable to damage. After the age of 65, the risk roughly doubles every 5 years. Chronic health conditions also contribute. High blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity, and heart disease damage blood vessels, including those in the brain. Over time, this increases the risk of both vascular dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Lack of physical activity is another cause linked to cognitive decline. Regular exercise improves blood flow to the brain and reduces inflammation. A sedentary lifestyle, on the other hand, increases the risk of many diseases that contribute to dementia. Social isolation and depression are also important risk factors. Studies show that people who are socially active and mentally engaged have a lower risk of dementia. Chronic depression may shrink certain parts of the brain involved in memory. Sleep disorders are increasingly recognized as a risk factor. Poor sleep, especially untreated sleep apnea, reduces oxygen levels and interferes with the brain's ability to clear toxic proteins. Over time, this may increase dementia risk. Smoking is another contributing factor. Smoking damages blood vessels and reduces oxygen supply to the brain. It also increases inflammation and oxidative stress, both of which accelerate brain aging. Air pollution is now being studied as a possible environmental cause. Long-term exposure to polluted air may contribute to brain inflammation and increase the risk of cognitive decline. Now let's summarize. Dementia is caused by damage to brain cells, and this damage can happen for many reasons. The most common cause is Alzheimer's disease. Other causes include vascular problems, Lewy body dementia, Parkinson's disease, frontotemporal dementia, head injuries, infections, alcohol abuse, nutritional deficiencies, genetics, and chronic health conditions. While some risk factors like age and genetics cannot be changed, many others can. Managing blood pressure, controlling diabetes, staying physically active, eating a balanced diet, getting enough sleep, staying socially connected, and avoiding smoking and excessive alcohol can significantly reduce the risk. Understanding the causes of dementia is the first step toward prevention and early detection. The earlier the cause is identified, the better the chances of slowing progression or managing symptoms effectively. Dementia is not just about memory loss. It is about protecting the health of our brain. And when we take care of our brain, we protect our independence, personality, and quality of life. That is why awareness about the causes of dementia is so important.